Hi, I'm Andrew Stewart, and today I want to talk about design thinking, specifically organizational improvement through design thinking. Uh, Basically, what I want to be able to do is give you a series of activities and workshops and brainstorming strategies that you can use with small groups or your organization to help improve or solve problems. But first, uh, I figured you guys want to know a little bit about me and why this topic is important to me. Like I said, my name is Andrew Stewart. I attended NKU from 2006 to 2012. Here are a couple pictures of me at some sporting events. And specifically, design thinking is important to me because I graduated with Bachelor of Fine Arts in Visual Communication Design. Here's a picture of me with my design classmates at graduation, and then this is a picture of me at my senior show for Visual Communication Design with my now wife. Since I graduated, I've been working here in Covington, Kentucky, not too far from NKU, as a creative consultant with a strategy activation firm called Tier 1 Performance. We work with a large number of clients, working on all kinds of different problems, ranging from change management to onboarding problems, training. Basically, if there's a way to help people do their job better, we like to try to find a way to help that out, either by utilizing technology or communication strategies. Really, we like to tailor make any kind of improvements for our clients. Specifically, as a creative consultant, I have worked over the years one-on-one and with groups of clients on improving their systems or thinking through creative or visual strategies to solve any of their organizational problems. And I use a lot of my education that I received at NKU in visual design as the backbone of using these design thinking strategies and activities. Because the cool thing is that a lot of the processes that you learn as a designer can really be applied to many different kinds of applications. And here's just a small sample of some of the clients that I've worked with over the years. And the reason why I show this is to show that these exercises, these approaches, these activities really have broad applications, and that, I've been able to use these techniques with healthcare clients, insurance companies, and even with our nation's military. So what really is design thinking? At the end of the day, design thinking is a set of problem-solving strategies rooted in the practice and language of design. Like I said earlier, this is all just about leveraging some of the processes and foundational principles of design for any kind of application. So normally you use those to design products or software or architecture. But we can really use that to improve all kinds of things like training programs or group activities or communication plans, those kinds of things. Any of those can be improved by thinking them through as a design problem. Design thinking isn't something new. It's something that we've been doing for a long time. And here are just a couple examples. I particularly focus on the Bauhaus, which was a artist collective in Germany in the early 20th century that really kind of defined a lot of these early design principles that we have been able to use since then, and are the foundation of design and art education. And then just a small shout out to my professors here at NKU, Hans and Julie, that taught me visual communication design specifically, but the strategies and the things that I've learned in their classrooms really help to inform how I'm able to use these techniques for multiple applications. At the end of the day, design thinking is all about process. And really the process, it helps us to keep track of where things are and where we're going. And the big focus of any design thinking project is really getting yourselves into the shoes of the eventual person you're targeting, or, from my experience building software, we are trying to empathize with our end user in mind. So really understanding that problem, coming up with ideas together as a group, and then prototyping those ideas out. And then giving yourself the opportunity to test out those ideas and then be able to implement them. And at any point, you can make your way back through this process. It's all about learning and trying. If you're familiar with the scientific method, a lot of these principles are the same. It's about coming up with a hypothesis and then testing that hypothesis. We really are just kind of defining a problem and then exhausting all the ideas to solve that problem. So let's go through a couple examples. How can we use this in our everyday life? So let's say you want to improve the way work gets done on a group project. I know this is a particularly relevant example for most students, because group projects can be a very fraught situation. And who hasn't been there where it's the last minute and you have to get everything done for the whole group, or you have to figure out how you're going to present something the next day. These are common problems. But let's say we want to use design thinking really to help mitigate some of those problems. So on that first day, when you get assigned to your group, you say, hey, let's all brainstorm together some ways to improve the way we're going to work together. And one of the activities that I love to do when we're really starting out in any kind of solutioning is to say, how might we? So I'd like to take the opportunity to give everybody a chance to think through this very broad question of how might we. Normally, when we're not working remotely, we usually do this in a room with a whiteboard and everybody has a pad of Post-its. And I like to give everybody in the group an opportunity to write out their own individual how might we questions. And then, after about 5-10 minutes, based on the size of the group and how much people are writing, then we take the opportunity to post everything up on a wall together, and then start to really try to put together groups of ideas and really start to hone in on what it is we're really trying to solve. So for example, we might really just start off with, an easy question like, how might we talk to each other? And then this could, you can also think about how might we get a passing grade? So these are two pretty specific questions, but really trying to give everybody the opportunity to exhaust all of these how might we ideas around improving this group project experience. And what I've done is I've already kind of built out what would eventually be a, kind of a whiteboard situation for the how might we, where we have all of these Post-its up, and then we start to group them once we have more Post-its, so we can start to see, okay, We have these two post-its really are concerned about communication. These post-its here are really about project structure and um, how we can um, get people involved, how we can tailor the presentation to our professor, because they are the one that's going to be determining the grade at the end of the day. And then we have a lot of these logistical questions. How are we going to divvy this up? How are we going to work together? And then from this, we can then start to kind of come up with a game plan. All right, we want to make sure that we all working in the same Google Doc together and that we're all tracking tasks with one another. These are just some small examples, but one of the benefits of doing an activity like this is that you avoid the problem of one person kind of dictating the entire plan of a project. This really encourages group collaboration and really allows people to voice their opinions. Sometimes, especially if people are introverted, they might not quickly bring up some of these issues within a group. But if you allow them this opportunity to independently write out these how might we statements and then work together to group them together, you can really start to see where a lot of the energy in the room is around some of these particular problems and potential solutions. One of the things that I like to do once I have a whole, sometimes we can have a whole whiteboard filled with hundreds of post-its, is give everybody the opportunity to vote for the ones that they think are the most important. So everybody gets a certain number of votes and they're able to check off, write a tick, or, a lot of times if we're physically there, they'll put a little dot sticker or something next to the post-its that they like. And that way you can see from abroad, as you back up, you can really see, okay, there's a lot of energy around these particular questions, so we should really focus on these. So these are just this is just a really simple activity to really get everybody in the room on the same page and make sure that everyone is heard and that your strategies moving forward really are leveraging these initial ideas. Another way that you can use design thinking is to really put yourself in the shoes of a particular audience or end user, as we like to say when we're designing software. And the way that we do that is by using something called an empathy map. An example I have here is, let's say that you're in a student organization, you're putting together a program, and you really want to target for this program, you really want to target these sophomore nursing students. Maybe there's something particularly valuable for that audience, and you really want to make sure that they are in attendance. So what you can do as a group is to build out an empathy map, and what this will help you do is to kind of, again, put yourself in their shoes. When you're working with your group, one of the things that's super helpful if you're trying to target a particular audience is to have a representative of that audience with you while you're doing a empathy mapping exercise. Like with How Might We's, I usually like to start with everybody kind of working independently, writing on post-it notes, and then as a group, give everybody the chance to then post their notes up on these different sections of the map. I like to start up here in the top left and work my way counterclockwise. I feel like everything starts to build off of each other in that way, but you can really work at this in any particular place, as long as you take a concerted effort to fill out all of these areas. Now, I don't know a whole lot about sophomore nursing students, so I just threw out a bunch of these post-its as examples. Like I said, it would be super helpful if you could get a sample of that particular audience with you in the room to really help build out this empathy map. And the way that these empathy maps can become useful for you moving forward is that, if you're planning the particular activity, you can see, okay, because we took the time to ask and analyze how they prefer to receive information. We know that it would probably be beneficial to do some sort of Instagram type message. So we also know that they've got a lot, they're doing a lot of studying, and balance is a huge issue with this particular audience. So if we really want to empathize with them, we can tailor our communications to them around, hey, we know that you're really busy with your practicum this semester, but we have this activity coming up that I think you would be really excited to be a part of. This is just a broad example, but the benefits of this are that you really get to know the people that you are trying to target. And so I love to do these kinds of empathy map exercises with organizations when we're talking about communication strategies and recruitment. So if you're trying to recruit a particular group of people to your organization, it really helps to get to know them a little bit better. Make sure that you are speaking to them and communicating with them in a way that makes sense to them. And again, it always helps to have a member of the target audience in the group when you're doing these empathy map exercises. So those are just a couple examples of exercises. There's all kinds of different design thinking activities and workshops that you can do. If anyone is interested in me coming to lead a workshop, either virtually or hopefully sometime in the future in person, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is a.stewart@tier1performance.com. Thank you all for watching, and go Norse.